Yo, what's going on? It's your boy, with a brand new video for you guys today. Taking a reaction video. I haven't done a reaction video in a while, so you guys before that. I only do reaction videos when there's something that I see that gets my attention and that I know for a fact I'm going to have like a long-winded response to, and I don't want to like give the person who made the video like this big ass wall of text in their comment section, but because I do want to give them like a respectful like reply essentially. So I came across this video on Twitter. Pingu retweeted a video by someone named Hard Baguette. He made a video about rank 2.0 for Siege. So we're gonna wrap to that. We're gonna wrap to Hard Baguette's video. As always, go to the original video, watch it, leave a like. If you like their content enough, give them a subscription. Their link will be the first link in any reaction video at the top of the description box below, and then you'll see like my links. So always show love to original creator when it comes to reaction videos. But in general, I saw this one talk about. I haven't played Siege in a few months, apparently, because I go through phases with Siege where I just don't play a lot of it. Where I'll go through a phase where I play it just nonstop, and then I'll just take like month-long breaks, and then come back, and then go on another break from the game. And I feel like a lot of that happens because I do play solo, and when you play games solo, you're not as mentally forced to play the game. Like you don't feel like, oh, my friends are on, they invited me, I need to go play Siege. My friends have all kind of like, we still game together, but everyone's kind of like drifted away from Siege as like the main game. If we do play Siege together, it's very rare. So as someone who still kind of is more into Siege than they are, I do still come back to the game to play the game and enjoy it for what it is. But when it comes to this video is about Rank 2.0, which is a very controversial topic in Siege in terms of if you ask people about it, they all hate it. And this video is going to try to explain why this creator, Hard Baguette, thinks that Rank 2.0 isn't really the issue, and it's other things. So I'm gonna watch this video, react to it, have a conversation about it, and then leave thoughts, have the comments below when it comes to your take. Not necessarily like your take towards him, but your take towards me, what I have in response to what he's saying.
Has been in Siege for almost a year, and there are still people that don't understand it. And it causes a lot of people to blame Rank 2.0 for the current state of the game. I'm going to dive into the explanation of how Rank 2.0 actually works, what the intentions behind Rank 2.0 were, and offer some ideas on how we can fix the current problems that we're seeing with Rank 2.0. So what actually is Rank 2.0? First, we've got to go all the way back to the beginning of the launch of Rank 2.0 and look at how Ubisoft has defined it and then what their intentions were. We first have to clarify two different terms, rank and skill. Rank is purely visual. It doesn't mean you're good or bad. It does not determine the matchmaking, and people equate the rank to their actual skill. And
so like this first part is like 100%, and even if you don't even play Siege, this applies to any and every video game. What you see as your rank is always a visual thing. Like you can have someone who is at a high rank and bad at the game because the rank is just a visual showcase. It's not like an actual showcase of someone's skill. You can achieve a high rank by just playing the game. Like it may take you longer than someone who has like actual skill, but you can still get to a high rank while being bad at the game. There's a lot of people, like I said this before, when it comes to like battle royales, like Apex for example, you can get to freaking like plat or diamond while not being good at the game. Just play a lot. Like it's just over time you get enough hours in there to where eventually you will break down that wall and get into it. And it literally doesn't mean someone's good or bad. We live in a society when it comes to video games that where if someone sees a rank, they just automatically assume silver, you're bad. And it's like maybe they're silver because they solo queue, and solo queues rough people in all shooters, and they don't have as much time to play the game. They're not playing it for 12 hours a day. They're playing it for like a couple of hours after work, after school, or in between having to deal with their kids, and that's all the time they have, and they can't like grind the rank system as much as they wish they could. There's a reason for why they're there. Like I've seen a lot of people just watching Twitch streams and things like that, and also from doing rank grinds again that I was new to, where I see people who are at a lower rank who are very good at the game, and you always come across people who are like they're hard stuck at that position because for whatever reason. And then you get to high ranks. Like again, use myself for example. I've been in games where I've gotten to the very highest ranks, and I'll see like people who are just like they seem like they were new to the game. Like they seem like they didn't know what they're doing. They weren't very like team oriented. There's a lot that shows them being a bad player more so than good player, but they've achieved these ranks. It's not an indication of skill when you see what someone's rank is. It's an indication that they play the game a lot.
that's just wrong. but I'll touch on the pros and cons of rank 2.0 a bit later after we go through this explanation. Skill is the other term that you'll need to know, and that is the hidden MMR, MMR standing for matchmaking rating. This is responsible for identifying your actual skill, and it is used to determine the matchmaking, but in rank 2.0, the skill is hidden. And the skill is hidden for good reason, because then it's a lot harder to abuse the system in order to get easier matches. Your skill...
So to explain that last bit on, you know, people who try to like abuse matchmaking, and there's basically like personally, I don't really care when it comes to MMR. I don't like, if it exists, it exists. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But to explain that last bit, basically what people would do when they get to like a higher rank in a video game, they'll start to D-rank, as in they'll start losing on purpose, dying on purpose, because they reached a higher rank and they like it's too hard for them or whatever. So they'll do whatever they can to like basically get themselves into easier lobbies. You make Smurf accounts, trying to get to easier lobbies. That's what it means to like be trying a way to abuse the rank system. Is you're just trying to find, people are trying to find a way to be in easier lobbies while also still maintaining an appearance of looking good at video games. Understand that for the most part, people don't actually care about their actual skill. They care about the perception of skill. Basically means they care about what it looks like to others. The reason why games, especially Siege, for example, are like becoming like very team deathmatch, even though they're objective-based games, is people are playing for clips. They're not playing for wins. They're not playing for, you know, what a game's designed to be playing for. They just want clips for TikTok. They want clips for YouTube, clips for IG. They just want clips. They want to make sure that they're getting clips that make the world think that they're good at the game, even if they aren't. They could be like a sub 1 KD player, but if you see that they got an ace, you're like, oh my God, they're so good, right? So people want the perception of being good more so than actually being good. That's why, again, the visual rank matters more than actual like the skill itself, because it shows, hey, I'm a master's in Apex. Look at this symbol. Hey, I'm a champion in Siege. Look at my emblem, and things like that.
Is determined by the true skill system from Microsoft. That's what Ubisoft used in ranked 1.0, and it's based purely on wins and losses. This is the same system from 1.0 to 2.0 that determines your matchmaking. So nothing has changed from 1.0 to 2.0 for the matchmaking. Core Ross created a video on how ranked works in Siege just a few weeks ago in September 2023, and he delves a bit more into the technical side of true skill and breaks down a Reddit comment to clarify how rank 2.0 works. You're more than welcome to check his video out, but I will reiterate his most important points. The visual RP and rank that you get in rank 2.0 is not tied to matchmaking or skill. And that to me is the most confusing part for newer players and for players that are coming back from a long break. Is
I think that's more confusing. That's confusing for everybody. Like I see people who have played the game for like a long period of time, even when it comes like Overwatch, Apex, Halo. People who've played the games for a long period of time, they will all be asking, how come I have emeralds in my lobby when I'm a silver? And it's like, because the visual rank doesn't matter. It's your hidden MMR. That's an indication of basically the game system, that whatever algorithm that they show like the true skill of Microsoft, what is building of what your skill is matches who you're playing against. Yes, their rank might say emerald, but their actual skill is where you're at. So if you're playing in a lobby full of emeralds, you're probably that doesn't matter. What matters is, what is your KD? What is your win loss? If you have like a 1.5 KD and like you're getting these lobbies people who also have 1.5 KDs, that's why you're in that lobby. It has nothing to do with the rank. It has everything to do with what your KD is, what your win loss is. If you're winning 60% of your games every season, you're getting put into lobbies of people who are also winning 60% of their games every single season. It's not complicated. But when it comes to people who are obsessed with statistics, when it comes to making themselves look good on videos or to their peers, they ignore the logic behind or what's being said about it's all based on skill. Even in this video, there's people in the comments who are like, how come I get into lobbies with people who are this rank when I'm this rank? And then it's like, did you watch the video? Rank does not equate to skill. The game's putting you a lot of people who do equate to your skill, regardless of what your rank is.
they see their visual rank, but they don't see the underlying skill that creates the matches for them. So there is this distinction between rank and skill. Skill is what is used for your matchmaking. That would be essentially similar to what your last 1.0 rank would be. So if I give myself as an example, my skill in ranked 1.0, I was a consistent Diamond 2 player, and under rank 2.0, I've been hitting the visual rank of champion. And essentially all this means is that I am a champion of the Diamond 2 skill. So I've hit the top players in Diamond 2 just because of the number of games that I've played to get my visual rank of champion. There's a lot of people calling for ranked 1.0 to come back, but there literally wouldn't be any difference other than it being easier to comprehend where your skill is, because the skill was your previous rank in 1.0. But we need to talk about some of the changes that was made with rank 2.0, and that's going to be the fact that these placement matches were taken away and the skill resets were also taken away. And this is very important because everyone begins the season at Copper 5 now, but that is, again, just the visual rank. The good news is that your skill no longer resets at the beginning of each season, and you might be wondering, why is that good news? Well, it now has less uncertainty over time. The more games you play, the more accurate your skill rating is, because it has collected data about the wide variety of players that you've won or lost to over time. Simply put, the more matches you play, the more accurate your skill rating. This means over time, the matchmaking of rank 2.0 should be better than it was in ranked 1.0 because of the soft reset at the start of each season. Your visual rank may fluctuate more from season to season because it is simply a measure of how many matches you've played over the course of the season. It still takes around 100 games for most Diamond and Champion skill players to reach the visual rank of Champion each season, so it isn't necessarily the easiest grind for most players. Rank 2.0 also removed the skill cap when squatting up with friends, so you can now play with any friends from any skill level and be in the same match. There is some behind the scenes algorithm to weight the games more towards the higher skill players to avoid unbalanced matchmaking, and this was further tweaked in Year 8 Season 2 to make sure that matches were fairer and more balanced. Ubisoft suggested in their initial post that they expect most players to have around a 50% win rate because the matches are meant to be composed of players all within your skill bracket. Another reason why people may appear to be a higher rank than their skill is due to demotion protection. You can be saved from demotion to a rank below your current division just by having more than 0 RP towards the next rank. For example, if you're moving from Diamond 1 to Champ, but you have 7 RP towards Champ, and you lose the game, you will lose the 7 RP, but be protected from falling back to Diamond 2, so you will now be on 0 RP Diamond 1 towards Champ. However, if you lose another game right after that consecutively, you will fall to Diamond 2 and lose the correct amount of RP rather than just 7. Now, we've got a frequently asked question from streams and to a lot of different creators, and this is kind of the last thing that I want to touch on before I move into the goal of Ubisoft when they were making this change. And the question is, why am I playing pros or champs when I'm in gold? Usually what the person means is their visible rank and not their skill. They've reached gold rank in rank 2.0, and they're playing against players within their skill level all the time. That is how rank 2.0 is designed. It is meant to put you up against players that fall within your skill range. Sometimes they're better, sometimes they're worse, but everyone is in roughly the same range. We have to remember that.
So like, just to like go over that a little bit, a lot of people who play competitive games, aka just playing ranked in the shooter, they want the appeal of looking good at video games, but they don't want the challenge of being good at video games. What that means is, and it's the usual tired old tale about what you call them, matchmaking. When it comes to like skill-based matchmaking, that's what it is. It's, SBMM, skill-based matchmaking. It is one of the tales old as time when it comes to gaming right now, where people talk about it in every single like video game. Should there be a skill-based matchmaking? It's like, well, it's ranked. If you are good, the gooder you get, the better you get, the better the people you're playing against are going to get. And when it comes to like this game, for example, and he mentioned like someone said that they're in gold, they're a gold player, but they're playing against people who are champions. It's like the people who you're playing against are still on your skill level. Like if you are a 1 KD player, the other people on the other team are all going to be mostly be 1 KD players. Like that's just how it is. So it's not like you're playing against pros. Like most people, if you're a gold player, you likely will never see a pro player in your actual lobby. Don't act like just because someone has, dot some kind of like tag in their name that makes them a pro. That's not what that is. If you're in gold, and you're playing against freaking G2, like that's a rarity. Like that's probably never going to happen unless you are what you're hitting MMR on the same level as like Uno and Doki and people like that, or Spoit when it comes to like, just naming another esport player other than just G2 players. Like if you have the same kind of stats as them, same KD, win loss, things like that, yeah, you're gonna play against them. But just because someone whose name is freaking, I love feet dot, KSI or something like that, that doesn't mean that they're a pro player. A lot of people put pro player names in their names, especially people who like they'll name themselves freaking Shiko and then like something else, just but they're not actually Shiko. They're just a fan of Shiko and they use his name. It's like you're not actually playing against a pro player. But just in general, like we're getting a little long winded on a very simplistic freaking response, which is, what your rank is, what you see as your rank, is not what you want to equate to. It's so rare to like play against a pro player if you're not someone who's on pro player skill. Just look at this chart. This chart shows you basically where majority of the player base is. Majority of the player base you will look like it's in gold, which will make sense of why someone's playing against so many people who are good at the game in gold, because that's what majority of the player base is when it comes to that rank tier. Now, if you combine all the numbers, the average would probably be around silver. Like that'd be the average player account. If you combine, if there wasn't like a gold 3, gold 2, gold 1, remember it used to be gold 4 and gold 5, but they removed that. They removed gold 4 and they removed gold 5 to just have 3 tiers of gold. So these two ranks right here could be viewed as another gold tier. So a lot of people who are in silver 1 are basically just people who are yo-yoing between silver 1 and gold 3. So like if you're a gold player and you're playing against all these good players, this is why. Majority of the player base is in the same player bracket as you, and if they're just as good as you, you're gonna see them more than anybody else. You're not gonna see bronze's skill players more than you see gold skill players if you're someone who's as good as you are in your rank.
Only 1.6% of the entire player base was champion or diamond in the final season of Ranked 1.0. So if you've reached the higher end of plat, or you were diamond or champ in your last season of Ranked 1.0, that's only roughly 1.7% of the player base that can be matched up with. And depending whether you're on console or PC, the pool of players within your skill range is going to be so slim that sometimes the matchmaking has to go outside the normal range to fill the lobby. This was always the case, even in Ranked 1.0. Nothing has changed on the matchmaking side between 1.0 and 2.0, but I think we're seeing a lot of recency bias. And I'll get back into more of the details on how Rank 2.0 has been a good thing or a bad thing in just a little bit, but we need to assess what Ubisoft's goal was with Rank 2.0 and whether or not it was successful. All right, so the overall goal of Ubisoft with Rank 2.0 was to reward players for playing ranked. It wasn't a friendly game mode for most players, and before Rank 2.0, less than 40% of all players had even played a ranked game in the last season of Ranked 1.0. This number jumped up to 40% in the first season of Ranked 2.0. There was a tremendous increase of ranked players in the first month of Ranked 2.0, with over 50% of all matches that were played being ranked matches, and Quick Match dropped to about 22% of all played matches for all players. Therefore, Ubisoft succeeded in getting more players to play ranked. It wasn't a significant jump, but it was an increase nonetheless.
To give a comparison that's not like exactly, Siege related, I'll mention Destiny. Destiny's Trials of Osiris was like pretty much dying. Like most people who played Destiny weren't playing Trials of Osiris, and Bungie need to find a way to get people to play Trials of Osiris, which is basically, for the most part, was basically like think of like a ranked form of Destiny. There's competitive, but like the most competitive form of Destiny for the most part was Trials of Osiris, and no one's really playing it other than like select few people. So in order to like get you to play Trials of Osiris, what Bungie did was they added this thing called Trials Last, which would basically just try different modes for a weekend to get people to play the game. And the first thing they did was do solo queue, and Bungie saw the biggest increase in the player base for competitive Destiny when they added a solo queue Trials Labs. And the same thing happens when it comes to Siege. When Siege changes rank system, more people started playing ranked than ever before.
Nonetheless, so players did enjoy the alpha packs, background cards, and charms that they would be receiving as rewards for playing ranked and achieving a higher visual rank. In short, Ubisoft was successful with getting more players to try to play ranked and playing more ranked matches. Now, what is good and bad about Rank 2.0? I've mentioned some of the good things already about Rank 2.0, and that is the long-term matchmaking. The system can be easily tweaked to affect the visual ranks and prevent more champions, which has already been seen to be effective, but the long-term skill without resets assures that players who remain on one account will see better quality matches the more they play the game. There will be a more defined hidden skill MMR the more matches you play, therefore better placing you in quality matches. However, on the same line, we have the negatives of Smurf accounts. This was an issue in Ranked 1.0 and continues to be an issue in Ranked 2.0, but is less likely to be a long-term problem. Due to the collective skill MMR from all seasons, every game from this point on counts towards the account's skill. So even if a Smurf is playing 10 to 20 games a season, it will add up over the long term, and the Smurf skill will be adjusted much quicker to be playing higher skill players earlier each season than they would in Ranked 1.0. Another good thing about Ranked 2.0 is that the matches do seem to be more balanced. There are more games going into overtime. Now, what leads to each game going into overtime might be different. The fact that games are going into OT more frequently in Ranked 2.0 suggests that the teams are more balanced than they were in Ranked 1.0. And this brings me to my other point. I know some of you are thinking, my teammates are always so bad when I solo queue. How can this be? And I'll answer that with the negatives about Rank 2.0. First and foremost, because the initial skill of a person was based off their last season of Ranked 1.0 and the MMR that they reached, we're suffering from players who may have reached a higher rank than they should have in 1.0. There are many players that were boosted or only played in full 5 stacks that are now playing the game in solo queue, with the estimation that their skill is actually much higher than what their true skill might be. Or you might have players that are extremely gifted mechanically in order to obtain their rank, but they don't think about what they're doing, and it can often be detrimental to the team. I'll talk more about this in the section about how we can all work to fix rank
That comment
2.0.
like there at the end, a player who's gifted mechanically but a detriment to their team, to make that a simple thing for people to understand, in all games, you have these people who will tell you, you know, I get X number of kills a game and things like that. Like they won't mention like, you know, anything else other than I get the most kills, I carry, you know, things like that. And it's like, there's more details for why that person loses games while also getting 10 kills a game. That's not being mentioned. Like they probably don't have a lot of game sense. You know, they can get some kills, but they can't actually like carry a game. Like a lot of this stuff that they do is based on, you know, refrags or saving KD. So let's say like they play a round, get 3 kills, and then they die. So now they're 3-1. Next round, they get 2 kills, and then they stay outside and just let the other team win that round. Now they're freaking 5-1. So their stats look good, but you don't see that they saved KD that second round where they didn't die because they just chose to stay outside and just take the loss instead of like, you know, progressing to try to win a round. A lot of people do that in video games where they'll flaunt how many kills they got, but never give you the details on like why they keep losing, because to them, the reason why they lose is my teammates. It's my teammates. If they died, it's their fault. It's not, well, did you even, how many impactless kills do you have? Impactless kills, basically like your kills didn't even like mean anything. Like, they didn't even dictate the outcome of a round. They didn't like, literally just impactless. A lot of people who flaunt their stats too much, they have a lot of impactless kills where they're not even deciding rounds. They just get some kills that don't mean anything, and that's pretty much it. In this kind of situation he's referring to is like, yeah, you got good gun skills, but you don't have any game sense. You have no map knowledge. You don't know how to like actually navigate the game in a way that leads to winning rounds.
You might also run into the issue of having a super talented player who took a long break from the game and is coming back to a higher skill lobby. They still have high skill from Ranked 1.0 because there's no soft reset anymore of their skill, and they haven't played any games to decrease their skill over time. So they'll come back to playing higher skill players than they normally would have in Ranked 1.0 because of that skill reset. The other negatives about Ranked 2.0 are regarding cheaters. Ranked 2.0 has the same problem with cheaters that 1.0 had, but it's on a wider scale in 2.0. Long-standing cheaters who have been cheating for a very long time are still going to be affecting the players that are high skill, and high skill players are more likely to be affected by cheaters in their lobbies. The problem comes when brand new level 50 accounts are introduced into the ranked atmosphere. This means in the early games of a level 50 account, If they're cheating, they will be against players that are roughly a true skill of Silver 4. Even though the skill adjustment is better in the long term, in the short term, it means that cheaters are now affecting players in a wider variety of skill levels and not strictly the top 10% of players. Due to the balancing of teams, there are more cheaters that are ending up in games that go full overtime as well, which means players are stuck in longer games, wasting their time playing games that have cheaters in the lobby. We know that all the games that cheaters are in are reset regardless of a win or loss. If you beat a cheater, then of course you get to keep that MMR, or you get to keep the ranked points rather. But if you win a game with a cheater on your team, that game is meaningless because you lose that RP that was gained. The last negative about Rank 2.0 is that the majority of the community doesn't understand how Rank 2.0 actually works. I hope that I've clarified how it works in the early part of this video, but there's a lot of people, including other content creators, that don't fully grasp the concept of Rank 2.0 when compared to Rank 1.0. Instead of pointing out other reasons for lost games, creators will say, Rank 2.0 in a nutshell. To some extent, it is correct, but it's not because of Rank 2.0, it's because of the shift in attitude by the players. Because RP losses are not as severe as the MMR losses from Ranked 1.0, players do not care as much as they used to about their ranked games. Players in Ranked 2.0 do not try as hard as they used to because there are fewer negative consequences for losing games. I'm partially guilty of this as well, but more so when I play against cheaters in the early season by saying, oh well, it's only 8 RP, and eventually we'll get that 8 RP back. The difference is I'm using that excuse and give up when it's against cheaters, but there are many players that I've run into that will give up after one round. They'll type GG, my team is bad, while not communicating on the mic, and they're just spawn peeking and dying every defensive round. They're sitting there spectating you rather than being on cams or on a mic and helping call out while they're dead. It isn't a Ranked 2.0.
Everything he just said applies to like a huge portion of the community who don't call out, people who aren't communicating, people who are basically just running around like hellish chickens trying to get freaking spawn peaks and dying, and then when they die, they basically like, oh, game over, I don't care anymore, we're gonna lose. It's like it's been one round and you die because you're an idiot.
Issue, it's a community issue. So what do we need to do to fix this? How can we together help fix Rank 2.0? Bolo talked about this in his video when discussing the TDM meta and Rank 2.0, and I do agree with him that Siege is not being played the same way that Siege was intended to be played. There are a ton of new players who weren't around when Siege first came out, so they don't know the beginning of the game and the intentions of the game. The reasons I love Siege and keep coming...
And that goes into like the strategy of Siege. You know, you start the game with 2 drones. Most people aren't using those drones in any kind of intelligent way. A lot of people, they'll just try to use their drones to freaking, you know, just get as many spot points as they can, even though, you know, strategically, all you need to be doing with your first drone is find what the objective is, get as many spots off as you can, and then hide your drone. And if someone else has already freaking done that, let's say like, you know, because technically there's 5 drones because there's 5 players. So if 2 people have already completed that first objective, find the objectives, and then spot people. So let's say they found the objective, that person drone got and they spotted 2 people, and they got shot. And the next drone found the last 3 people, and then they got shot. The other 3 players should be hiding their drones and saving their drones, so that way when the round starts, not only do you have a full, you would have those 3 drones with those 3 players, plus the second drones that all 5 people would have, and you can use those for intel. Intel right now in Siege is only used by actual like people who've been playing the game for a long period of time and understand the strategy behind Siege. People who are newer to the game, which is becoming like majority of the player base the last few seasons, they just run around like hellish chickens and try to get like as many kills as possible. They don't care about the strategy of Siege, and then because of that, those people will always lose games to like those actual, you know, strategic players who know how to scope around in their favor around aggressive playstyles who just want to play TDM.
Back to Siege is because despite operator lineups, maps, and setups being very similar from round to round, it is such a dynamic game that you're constantly learning from. In Year 8, there are still people that are learning new angles, whether it's vertical or horizontal, through multiple layers of floors and walls. This meta is constantly evolving. Operator gadget interactions are so diverse. The game is being balanced towards a meta that requires team play in the middle of the worst ranked meta of all time, where people rarely play as a team. One example is Smoke losing his shield. He can't be a one-man army, set up site, have a shield to defend himself, and have gadgets to deny areas of the map. They removed it so it forces another player to bring a shield for him, communicate with the teammate to set the shield up in the right spot, and on the competitive level, it is the correct move. But it's seen as silly in ranked and from casual players because that's what we're missing at this point. People need to actually start working with their teams. When I solo queue, no matter how few callouts I get in return, I'm constantly trying to play as a team.
Same.
I will pick the operator we need to fill out the lineup. I'll give comms, I'll watch cams, I'll be patient and help set up and execute. These are all things that everyone should be trying to do. But people...
It doesn't help when it comes to like trying to be a team player in this game. That again, even at and like high levels of siege, which, you know, again, I would say when it comes to like what would be considered actual high level siege, I would say gold 1 and higher when it comes to like your visual rank. But like, you know, people who have like a plus 1.1 KD will probably be like the higher skill in my opinion. Anything higher than that, then, you know, again, you're going up. So let's just like people who will be classified as like, you know, being decent at the game, they don't even know default setups. They don't even know like any form of like defensive like setups. They don't know where cams are located at to like shoot. They don't know anything that's like just common sense. Like I had a game before where we're playing on I want to say Night Haven, just the map he's actually playing right now. We're playing on Night Haven, and I'm doing like a basic Azami setup that involves basically holding the catwalk to the computer little area. And part of this setup, this is not like a setup I made. This is a basic default Azami setup when it comes to defending anywhere that has a catwalk. So like you play in Clubhouse, you have a garage catwalk, you do the same, kind of the same similar setup. What is Azami on that? Put a hole in the wall for Azami to be able to like, you know, be able to like rotate around and, you know, escape if things get bad. So I do a little setup, put my barricades when to put them, things like that. And this person decides to just fortify the wall that I put a hole into so I can, you know, get back through it. And that happens more than once throughout like siege period, because there's people who don't understand, you know, this is a setup and this is going to help us win the game. This is going to help us win the round. People don't think about what a default setup is, or don't think about the strategy of their teammates. People don't care that their teammate has their own you know, system that they're trying to play, and that they're fucking their teammate over. Like if you're playing, you know, any kind of like setup for yourself, and someone is basically going against your setup, like they're covering up the wall that you put a hole into, they're knocking out a barricade that you put a barricade on, and things like that, they're fucking you over. And from doing that, now the team's fucked over, because now you might die because your own teammate is screwing you over. And that shouldn't be happening in a game where teamwork is the key. And it also be happening if people weren't communicating in the game chat. You know, if you see someone who's trying to do like a certain setup, and they're communicating that's like, hey, I'm doing this right here, you know, just I'll allow this to happen, things like that, trying to talk your teammates through on what your plan is right now. Something like, I don't want to do all that. I'm just gonna freaking, you know, fuck you over. It's an irritating thing that kind of leads to people not wanting to play Siege solo queue, because they don't want to have to like deal with the fact that their teammates are going to be playing against them while they're trying to play against the enemy team.
People cut corners. They're lazy. They just want to walk in and shoot. That wasn't how Siege was intended. They wouldn't give you 2 drones on attack if you weren't meant to use them. Intel in this game is paramount, and people rarely use it. There's so many times when a call from a drone or a cam can shift the entire round. It takes very little effort to be a team player. Even if you're a 4-stack talking game to the one solo person, and they can be
just to give like an example. I know we're pausing very quickly, and when it comes to like, you know, how vital drones can be. I had a game on Villa where I was playing Cavera. Yeah, I was playing Cavera. My brother was playing Mozzie. Mozzie hacked a drone, and what my brother did, and he gets no credit for this whatsoever, because at that point in the game, you know, you don't get credit for someone like it's because you saw someone on a drone and you called it out. So he's not pinging, he's just calling it out. We're in our party chat. So he's using the drone, going around, he's calling out where people are located at, and I get like 4 kills off that. You know, like I almost aced the game because of someone on the drone basically just pointing out, like I'm holding 90 hallway, and the first kill I get myself. Like someone comes to 90 hall, I'm playing Cav, I kill them, they had diffuser, so now everyone who has to come to 90 to get the diffuser. So my brother with the drone is calling out exactly when people are coming to 90 hallway and what angles they're in. So all I have to do is just point and click. That's how vital it is. Like statistically, he gets no credit for that because he's not going to get an assist because he's just calling it out. You don't get points in game for call outs, so people don't do it because there's no reward for in game, but there's a reward for when it comes to just winning because you did a call out. And that also goes into what I said before, people who get like 10 kills a game, things like that, where they don't consider the fact that the reason why they got 10 kills is because of someone's pinging, someone's playing, an intel operator, and that facilitated them getting kills.
Willing to help you out. It's little changes over time that everyone in the community has to make in order to help improve the atmosphere in ranked. The next thing that I've noticed is the arrogance or ego that many players have. People will hit champion in rank 2.0, the visual rank, and suddenly think that they're Bolo or Spoit and that they can get away with the same things that they do despite not being as mechanically gifted. Even Bolo and Spoit, despite acknowledging how good they are at the game, don't have the arrogance of some players I've seen in ranked. Drop the ego, it's a game, help the team, talk, don't spawn peek every round, and I guarantee that you will win more games. Lastly,
you won't just win more games, you'll make more friends. Another issue in Siege, we keep going to these issues, is people keep talking about how they can't make friends. The reason why you can't make friends is because you're a shithead. If you're not a shitty person, people will add you. It's just that simple. And I actually had the conversation with somebody before, I think it was in Atheno's chat, where someone was like, I can't make friends, it's so hard, I hate being a solo queue. And I asked them, well, why are you stuck in solo queue? Like, are you trying to make friends? Do you send people invites? Do you talk in game chat? Basically, I lined out like potential ways to make friends, and then I ended it with, or it's your personality. And he was honest. He was like, it's my personality. And it's like, yeah, a lot of y'all are dickheads. A lot of y'all are awful to game with. People don't like playing with you, and because of that, you don't make friends. Don't be a shithead. You can be someone, like you mentioned, some pro players like Spoit and Buelo. A lot of the pro players who I've seen are just very calm, chill people. Just very chill. People who are former pros, very calm and chill. A lot of the good players who make content are very chill. Meanwhile, the people who I can't find friends are all assholes. There's a reason for why you can't make friends. It's very simple. Stop being a dick.
Take accountability when you make a mistake. Not everyone is perfect. You can admit you've done something wrong. And if someone on your team admits they've made a mistake, be gracious with them. You don't need to flame someone because they've admitted they made a mistake.
He's preaching again.
At least the person is willing to reflect on what they've done and understand that they could have done something better in the round in order to help you win. This dynamic game and the different play styles.
It does not help you at all or your team to give someone shit. Like if someone's having a bad game and you're telling them like, oh, you're fucking garbage, you should go freaking play Terror Sun, go play Fortnite, your ass. That doesn't help anyone out. It ruins the vibe of the game. Now everyone's starting to feel like a little lower when it comes to the energies. People starting to feel like a little frustrated because like you're going off and being shitty. And also that person is now going to start making more mistakes because now if they're especially if they're a child, anyone under age of 21, anyone who's a kid, these teenagers, they hit like all this negative feedback. They start to try in a way that's not intelligent. They start to make mistakes, even more mistakes, because now they're trying to appeal to you, and they're putting themselves in like very bad decisions. There's good ways to handle someone who's having a bad game. One of the ways that I do it is I'll ask questions like, "Hey, is everything good? Like, are you having like lag? Is that what's going on here? Like, what operator do you want to play? Am I playing someone that you like to play? I can hop off this character. You can play him if it will help you out. Like, just find better ways than just being like, oh, you fucking suck. Go play Fortnite. Stop being an asshole. And also hold yourself accountable. Like, if I fuck up in a game, and I've done this a lot, like during my live streams, I play Siege, or when I'm just recording or in games. If I make a mistake, I'll be like, yeah, that's on me. Like, if I whiff on a shot, should have had that kill, I whiffed. And I have people in my community who will tell you like I do that a lot. I've had plenty of failed clutches where I'll get 4 kills and they don't get the 5th, and I'll be like, that's on me. I should actually have that, but here's where I messed up at. I looked left and I should look right, and I make up all these excuses for why I failed. And people will be chatting like, hey, you shouldn't even be in a situation to begin with where you gotta freaking win a 5v1. Like, yeah, but I understand that, but I actually could have won that. So like, just hold yourself accountable.
Of every player within it offers a lot of different opportunities for people to make mistakes. So before you flame someone for making a mistake, really reflect on the big picture of the round and determine whether or not that was actually the reason for the lost round. Maybe it was just a good play by the opposing team. Maybe it was someone not helping get the breach open. Maybe it was something on the...
And we're pausing again. Another example, Halo. I play a lot of shooters. I play, if you could think of the AAA shooter, I've played it. I've had games of Halo where I'm just waxing the other team except one person on the other team, and I'll give them credit. Like I won't be like, hey, that dude's cheating or he's trash. I'm like, yo, this dude is freaking like kicking my ass. Like his team whooping their ass, but this one dude, whenever I get to a gunfight with him, I keep losing. That dude's freaking good. I'll give credit where it's due. Sometimes the reason why people are dying because it's just coming across people who are just better than them that day, better than them in that gunfight. There's always there's always some reasons that aren't someone's just bad, but why they're having a hard time. There's a potential unknown list of reasons why someone's having a bad game, and everyone has had some form of a bad game.
Other side of the map that caused a chain reaction that led to the lost round. Think about the big picture before blaming everything on one person for one thing that you probably noticed while you were spectating them, rather than watching a flank cam that could have saved the person you were spectating. If the community could come together, drop their egos, and start working with their teammates rather than throwing racial slurs at each other and muting random teammates straight away, maybe we wouldn't have such a big issue in our ranked games. Ranked 2.0 will not get better if we don't try to make it better. But put the same effort in to win each and every match that you did in Ranked 1.0, and it will still be a similarly rewarding experience. Stop blaming the system when it is in fact the players that have made the change to the game. Start playing Siege the way it was meant to be played. If you've made it all the way to the end, I greatly appreciate you sticking through. I hope that you've learned a bit about how Ranked 2.0 works, and I really hope that you're going to start or continue playing Siege the way that it is meant to be played in an effort to improve the quality of everyone's ranked matches. If you enjoy Rainbow Six content, think about subscribing, as every little bit helps, and I will see you all in the next video.
All right, very good video. Generally a lot of it is basically holding the community responsible. I say this a lot when it comes to video games. Everyone complains about what the developers are doing or not doing. When the biggest flaw to any video game, Halo, Apex, Destiny, Fortnite, Overwatch, Siege, Call of Duty, the biggest issue is the community. It always goes back to the community. What is the community doing? That kind of like ruins the experience for other people, and also ruins the game. Where the developers have to freaking find some kind of way to redesign the game around a shitty community. If the community is better, the game becomes better. It's kind of weird how that happens, right? If the community is better, the game is better. And if you are providing a better experience for the community itself, the game grows. I know a lot of people who see Siege gameplay and they want to play Siege so much, but then they don't because they hear about how toxic the community is. And it's just like, I don't want to deal with it. And it's like, I don't blame you. Everybody else who plays the games is playing the game long enough so that they can deal with it. That happens for other games too. Games that have a toxic community, there's always someone who's like, I will play Valorant with that community. If the community is better, the game gets better. Anyways, this is a great video. Leave him a like. I'm gonna leave him a like as always. The link to the video that I watch will always be the first link in the box below. So head over there, give him a like, watch the original video as well. I'm gonna do my live stream. I'm gonna stream Resident Evil. So watch me on Twitch. Come by, follow, type in chat, hang out, things like that. Links to my Twitch being underneath the link to his channel. But yeah, hope you all enjoyed. Y'all stay safe. We can't contact one another. It's free to be kind. Don't be an asshole. You actually will learn how much funner games are when you're not a dick. That gets so much more fun. Anyways, I'll catch you guys on the next one. I'm out of here. Deuces.